So this is a special episode of the Bear Grease podcast.
It feels
Mark,
special.
In case you didn't know, there's a podcast out there that's called Bear Grease, and
I've
we do
heard
a
of it.
documentary-style podcast every other week, and then in between weeks, we do a Bear Grease render. So you might be confused when you see this and think it's a Bear Grease render, but it's not. This is a special episode of Bear Grease.
Oh, I thought this was
Bear
rendered.
Grease proper. No, Mark. No, that's the reason I targeted you.
Thank you.
I can see it in people's eyes when they think it's something's going on that's not going.
Third title coming. Bear Grease crackling.
That
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
That's a good marketing idea. But this is really fun for me because I've got a good portion of the MeatEater team here, and I think there's probably a lot of Bear Grease people that would know who you guys were, but there's some portion of them that wouldn't. But from right to left, we've got Ryan Callaghan. Good to see you.
Good seeing you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's like old Cal.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You kind of said it. You kind of said it like like an Irish type or Scottish type of surname type of deal. But
Okay.
Oh, see, I always did think that it was Ol without the D, Cal.
when I was going to college during my short experience with college, I had a bunch of friends who didn't have jobs and stuff like that. And I had a lot of worldly wisdom from outside of college. And so they're like, oh, old cow. You know, it's like, it
You were their
reminded them
sage.
too much of their dad.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Yep. Yeah, and it's
I
stuck.
thought I knew the
Well-
MeatEater crew, but now we're even learning
Yeah.
something new.
Oh, Cal. Okay. Well, Ryan Callaghan. And then Heather Douville, A.K. Moosey.
Hi. Glad to be here.
Tell everybody where you're from.
I live in Craig on Prince of Wales Island, Craig, Alaska.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Now, Heather, I've got to make claim. I think I was the first person from MeatEater that reached out to you. Can that be
Yes.
disputed? Because I
Yes, you were.
shared one of your backpack technique for deer, because I have a deal that was taught to me by James Lawrence he called it shock pouching a deer, where you cut the legs out of the deer and tie its legs together. And for a decade, I'd searched trying to find the source of that, or if anybody that ever did it, and you were the first
You're
person
right. I
that I
forgot
saw.
about that.
And it was the way that you do it is different, but it's still like the same idea. I shared your deal, and then you were like,
Yes.
"Hey, thanks for sharing."
Because
then-
every time I share, we call it the Tlingit backpack. So it's a traditional backpack passed down through my culture. People tell me it's the clay. So that's why when I posted it and shared
had
it
to
with
write
MeatEater
that.
recently, I said, this is not the clay.
It's older
to
than
set
him.
the
wow.
record straight.
No, I never took credit for that at all. But man, if you haven't seen Heather on the MeatEater main channel, she's doing a bunch of cool stuff with sea otters. She's
Thank you.
she's the sea otter girl.
I've heard.
Yeah,
The otter lady. People
Yeah.
are you the fur lady? Yes.
yeah,
I
yeah.
answered to that.
Cool. And then we got old Brent Reaves over here, who I only see Brent when I come to Montana anymore. I'm not sure what's happening in our relationship, but that's why we've brought you here.
I've heard you don't have any good dogs, and he
Well,
won't have you.
Now, you didn't hear
along.
that from me, but you could have heard it from anybody.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't have any coon dogs at all right now, and haven't had for 2 years. So he would be right. Now I have squirrel dogs.
He's got some up and comers.
I do have a
showing-
young plot hound that's that I'm
showing
gonna
some
train
promise.
this year.
How many
Brent's
total
gonna help
dogs
me.
right now?
I've got 5 dogs right now.
5 dogs. 5 dogs, 4 kids. How many mules now?
2 mules,
2 mules.
1 wife, and a good one.
Thank goodness.
Yeah,
one wife and a
Anything
good
else on the property?
Chickens.
Chickens.
Got a pretty good spread of chickens. So
You
yeah,
have a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
you know we.
Does that ever keep you up at night?
Oh yeah, it
He's in
does.
Montana.
Man, hey,
That's all in Arkansas.
when I was a kid, I had coon dogs, and when they would bark at night, some imprinted memories on my life, Cal, where my dad busting into my room in the middle of the night, make your dog shut up, because it's keeping him up. So I walk outside and do whatever I got to do to get this dog to shut up. every single night. Well, there was a decade or two where I didn't have dogs. When we were raising our kids, we just couldn't change diapers and have dogs. So we didn't have dogs when the kids were little. I slept better then than I think I do now. Because every single moment you're thinking, are the mules getting out? Is my dog like baying someone's cow right now? Stuff like that.
Liability.
I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's stressful.
So, but it's worth it. You learn to deal with the stress. So, Brent, good to have you, brother.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep. Janis Putelis, the Latvian Eagle, been on our hearts heavy the last several months because of your 100-mile race. We're going to come back to that, but everybody knows Giannis. Have you been on beargrease before? Never before. Well, I'm glad.
Wow.
That
Really?
I don't think he has.
Why don't you like him?
I love Giannis.
I feel
Everybody knows I love Giannis.
Yeah. That's wild.
When I'm around Giannis, I just follow him around and ask him what we're going to do next. That's pretty much what I do. Right, Giannis? Anywhere we go.
You said that.
Yeah. And then Mark Kenyon, who Mark's been on here a couple of times.
I have, yeah.
But Mark is our whitetail.
Why? What's more surprising, that you haven't been or that I have been?
Now instead of me being just like not been on once at all, you've been on twice.
Yeah.
So there's the disparity is
It
bigger.
is odd.
Well, Mark has been to my house, and we podcast a couple years ago when you hunted in my neck of the woods in
Got to
Arkansas.
stay at your parents' house even.
Yep. You stayed at the Believer's house and Juju's house. Yep. So, but
good time.
Mark has Wired to Hunt, which is our whitetail sector. Now Tony's not here; he couldn't be here, but Tony's your buddy, Tony Peterson.
Yep. Tony's my little buddy.
And,
Oh,
Tony. Yeah.
little Tony.
Yep.
He does some good stuff. Does some very good stuff.
Yeah. So okay, I here's what we're gonna do. I kind of want to I want to go around and I kind of want to tell what everybody does. Mark is writing a book. Can we tell people that?
Yeah, you can talk about it.
Second book.
Mark is deep into his second book.
Yeah.
First book was That Wild Country,
Yes,
and
sir.
now you're deep in a second book that you just submitted to the publisher.
Yep.
And what's it about? When's it going to come out?
The book is about the current state and threats to fish and wildlife across America. I guess you could say the past, present, and future of fish and wildlife in America, explored through the lens of a hunter and angler. So kind of a hunter and angler take on what's going on with critters out there right now. It follows me in a bunch of hunting and fishing trips across the nation as I'm meeting with researchers and conservationists and hunters and anglers and business owners and all sorts of different people that have some kind of connection to fish and wildlife. And that book comes out probably late summer next year, 26. Right now, the working title is Wild Lives. That could be changed. But right now, that's what we're working with.
Does it ever stress you out that when people say, do you feel like you have to have like a super concise answer about what your book's about, like the secondary one-liner?
Yeah.
Like what's your one-liner for what your book's about?
The one-liner has to change a little bit based on the audience. Like if it's someone who pays attention to like environmental and conservation kind of stuff, I would say like it's an exploration of the biodiversity crisis from a hunter-angler perspective.
Okay, I like that.
If it was like a little more of like a general audience, I might use the subtitle like the past, present, and future of fish and wildlife in America. Keeping it a little more high level, because the biodiversity crisis maybe isn't something that every person recognizes. But that's what I'm working with right now.
Okay, I like it.
It's coming along.
Well, yeah. Do you get to just go do the fun stuff and then Chat GPT just takes care of the rest? Like,
Yeah, I wish. No, that ChatGPT is not quite up to snuff, I'd say. So I actually think the fun stuff is the writing. I enjoy the process. It is sometimes like beating your head against like a brick wall. I'm sure you've been experiencing this too. But it is also like the magic when stuff comes together, when you finally are able to. I think writing is the kind of the final touches of it clarifying your thinking. So like by forcing yourself to write, you have to clarify your thinking on something. And so it forces you to really, really ponder things, organize your thoughts, and really come to real conclusions about how you feel about the world or what you think about a situation. And so going through that process and then figuring out yourself and then figuring out how to put words to a feeling or an experience or a concept in such a way that anyone else could pick it up and be like, oh, yes. That's like a magical thing when those pieces click together.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that.
Yeah. I think it's a powerful exercise that not everybody writes, but it really is a powerfully clarifying exercise to really hone in what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Mark is a copious reader. But Cal, does that, when you see all the books that he reads,
Oh yeah,
what do you think?
He's mowing through them for sure.
I mean,
Yep.
are you like
voracious?
Well, you may read more books than him, and you just don't put it on the internet. But when you see him, are you like, man, I got to read more, or man, I'm glad he does that, or dang, I would never do that? Like, how do you
What's your
balance
reaction?
it?
Oh, I think we all go through different phases of life. There's a time where people would make fun of me because in every room of my little ramshackle apartments or houses that I lived in, I'd have 2 or 3 open books.
Okay.
And I was just constantly going a little ADD, picking up things and putting them down. And I haven't read cover to cover a book in at least a year right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is just would be highly abnormal from a decade ago.
Yeah.
But this decade's a lot different than the previous one.
Yeah.
So.
I get it. What happens when you see Mark's giant book stacks of all the books he read like this month?
I'm impressed.
Does it make you want to read, or you
Yeah.
just? It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This poor guy had to listen to me talk about books the entire time I ran with him.
Oh
on
yeah,
his
that's
race. I
right.
had to give him a
Well,
bunch
we're
of book
about to get to
reports.
Giannis's 100-mile race.
I got to make one other comment about how little you read, Clay.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, because so I finished writing the first official manuscript of my book. It's due June 1st. I send it to the publisher and the editor on a Friday, and it's
I think I know where this is going.
it was such an amazing feeling to ship it out. It's like giving birth to a baby. I mean, I don't know what that's actually like, but
Oh wow.
I'm assuming it's something like that. It was a huge relief. This thing's the
Out.
first phase out there, and I immediately am like, all right, I need to go for a run and just kind of burn off that energy, feel good, kind of celebrate. So I go for a run, and Clay texts me as I'm running, and I happen to feel a buzz or whatever. I look at the phone as I'm on my run, just full of joy. And he's like, hey, man, will you send me the first chapter of your book? I'd love to read it. And I'm in such a great mood. I'm like, heck yeah, buddy. Better than that, I'll send you the entire book.
Clay's my best friend.
I'm like, I'll send you the first chapter, but here's the whole man. You read whatever you want. If you have any feedback or thoughts, we'd love to hear it. He's like, great. So I send it within minutes. So that was 6 months ago or whatever.
No, not 6 months.
It was
Don't
quite a few
feel
months
bad.
ago.
Okay.
Then me and Clay see each other 2 days ago. I'm like, Clay, what'd you think? I haven't got to read a bit of it yet.
Yeah, I felt really bad when I saw Mark because in the moment I was very if I had this right this second, I would read it. And then he sent it, and then it just quickly just got lost. So
Right.
I look
Yeah.
forward to reading your book, Mark.
So
I
many,
would
so
say-
And if we
many things
review
are
the-
making
if-
sense
if-
now. I'm first time Bozeman, first time meeting y'all in person, and one of the first things I say to him is, "I don't read," and he goes, "You don't read?"
I didn't say it like that.
That's pretty well.
As we're walking,
That is the best impression of Mark I've ever seen.
he's
That
like,
was
"You
spot
don't
on.
read," and I'm like, "No, never." And now this is all I'm tracking all this.
This is our author here.
Don't feel bad.
This is our author.
Yes.
But I think you kind of shot yourself in the foot.
Which way?
Because a chapter is manageable. He was asking for just a taste,
Yeah, that
and
was
he had
it.
time for just a taste, and you were
That
like, "Well,
was
here's the
it.
whole pie."
Got intimidated.
He was like, "Ah."
Overload.
I got
Could have
intimidated.
scared you away.
Yeah.
You'll like it better when you see the real.
You know what I'm looking forward to is the first line,
Yeah. Oh,
the first sentence.
what is the first sentence?
The quote.
Just no, not the
like the
quote.
epigraph.
Just
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking at books and seeing what the first sentence is.
Yeah.
And it, because
oh, yeah.
Is it a barometer?
We've been talking about this in our entire MeatEater career.
It's your first. That's the barometer for how the whole thing's going to
well, there's just a lot of ways to do it. I mean,
Well,
like
it's-
some authors are just you can see the first sentence isn't this sacred thing. It's just let's talk about this. Some authors, the first sentence is a sacred sentence. and it just has to have like a lot. Which
Yeah.
there's
what
not a
was
right
the
or wrong
one that
answer.
you used to always share about the man?
Yeah, so one of the ones that always sticks in my mind is the man in black fled across the desert and the gunslinger followed.
That is
Wow, that was
Stephen. That's Stephen King's The Dark Tower.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's nice.
The man in black fled across the desert and the gunslinger followed. And, you're like, oh, okay,
do,
well, I want
and-
to see what happens.
And what happens
It
then?
really is a phenomenal first
yeah.
sentence.
It is, yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
Johnny Cash.
Man in black. Well, so Giannis just ran 100 miles. Mm-hmm. How do you feel? Let me just say, Giannis ran that less than a week ago.
On
So
Saturday.
when I saw Giannis for the first time this week, he informed me that he was still in a little bit of a brain fog because I saw you on Tuesday. You ran it on Friday, so 4 days before or so, and
There should be some clarifying, though, is like 100 miles is a long way for sure, but there's a lot of routes to go 100 miles. This is through the crazy mountains in Montana, and there's a big elevation changes in there is one thing, but
so it's
also
one of the toughest 100 miles in the country.
it sounds like the footing the whole way was just very unpleasant. Isn't a place that you would go to just have an enjoyable run.
Am I right that there was 23,000 feet of gain?
Yeah.
That is
23,000
Wow.
feet of gain.
unreal,
Not quite Everest, but close.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
How do you feel, Giannis?
I actually feel pretty good. Yeah, all in all. I've got some sore toes. Brent called me last night right before I went to bed to check in on my little toes.
We'll be talking about that.
Yeah,
And,
tell us what you had to do.
But yeah, I'm going to lose some toenails over the whole thing. But overall, I feel pretty good. Proud of the effort, obviously.
Well, you should
know,
be.
You
It's,
spent, really, you don't really prepare for a race like this in months. It's more like years.
for sure.
Yeah.
No, I've been built. I think about 5 or 6 years ago, I ran my first mountain sort of trail run race. Actually, that's not true. I ran one back in Vail a long time ago. But since I moved to Montana, we have a great community race here in Bozeman called the Ridge Run, and it basically runs from Fairy Lake up in the Bridgers, down the ridge, the spine of the Bridgers, all the way down to the College M, which is a very popular trailhead. It's like 19-ish miles, maybe 20, something in there. And then once I did that, our buddy Rick Smith used to do this race called the Rut. And so I was like, oh, I can do the Rut. So I did 30K, which is or 50K, and that was 31 miles. And then once I did that distance, I thought, oh, maybe I could do 50 miles. So I did a 50 miler. And then I made the leap to 100. I think I should have went to like a 65 and then the 100.
Mm.
At least I had
Well-
that thought when I was at 65 miles.
It's what's so wild about somebody running a 100-mile race is it feels impossible. And I run a little bit. Like I don't promote it, but I do. I run a little bit, and so I know what it's like to run 10 miles, and to think of running 100 miles just seems wild. Now, Mark, you're a runner. Can you envision what it would take to run 100 miles, or is it like otherworldly?
I've read. Man, I'm such a caricature of myself, but I've read a lot about it. And I've ran what I thought was a pretty hard like mountain trail race, just a 30K, but nothing on the scale of him.
Yeah.
So I can imagine a bunch of the things, but I'm sure that my imagination is nowhere near the actual reality. But it appeals to me. Like it does feel like a thing. Like someday, yeah, probably I'd like to see if I could do it.
Yeah.
But I'm very.
Giannis told me, and I probably had heard this before, but these guys are running 250-mile races.
Yeah.
How is that humanly possible?
Is that nonstop?
Well, no, some people do it without sleeping. Well, most of the racers will stop and sleep for an extended period, like many hours. Yeah.
So there's a writer that I really like, a writer and podcaster that talks about this ultra running stuff, and he always says that the cool thing and kind of the funny thing about every one of these races is that you go to the starting line and you look at the other people around at a 100-mile race, and they're all different shapes and sizes, and they have all sorts of different backgrounds and different styles, but every single one of them is the weirdest person at their office or in their family, right? Like that's the guy.
funny.
He's that crazy dude that goes 100 miles. I think that's pretty cool.
I'm not the crazy dude around
Yeah.
here.
Oh, you
Or
are.
the
Everyone's
weirdest.
like, oh yeah, he's the dude that runs 100 miles. Like, you're not crazy for other reasons. I'm saying they're weird because
Oh,
like they're willing
for
to
that
do
reason.
that.
Giannis is the only guy at this office with bleach blonde hair,
That is true.
which you did for the race.
At the
but
moment,
that's
yeah.
a little crazy.
And painted toes, you know.
I saw that. Blue toes.
No, I think if you're into sort of pushing the boundaries a little bit of what you think you might be able to do or handle, this is a thing to go do and check out.
Yeah.
Good for
Yeah.
Because, even though as much as I knew what a long day it was going to be and how hard it was going to be, I had no idea of what was going to actually come and hit me. And it was fun and scary and great and real shitty all at the same time, because it's
Do
hard to
people ever
remember in
die?
the moment when you're there and you're like, I hate running and I should probably just stop this right now. It's harder to go, oh, right. No, this is what you paid for. Like all the training, the first 70 miles was just like the entry ticket to get to that moment to be like, oh, let's see what you're made out of. Can you do the thing called just one foot in front of the other? That's all you got to do, Cal. Just one foot in front of the other. Well, that gets really hard.
How many steps?
When my watch quit, it ran out of battery at about 30 hours. And I was at 90 miles. I was at like 110,000 steps.
Whoa.
You are an inspiration. I mean that in like a serious
Oh,
way.
I think
like
so
you
too.
truly,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
truly
Yeah.
inspiring.
Well, thank you.
Do you how would your brain have functioned if you wouldn't have had pacers?
Oh,
How critical was that, I guess?
like mission critical.
Yeah.
Like for the first one, I don't know if I would have finished without the Pacers.
Yeah.
Especially my one good buddy, Steven Brucker. Because everybody else, even though they're great people, positive people like Mark right here, right? They didn't have the experience of dealing with somebody that's just like in the dumps and, low on energy, low on fuel, and then how to manage that situation. Where
What did he do?
Huh? What did Mark do or what did Steven do?
Well, I mean, this guy that you said.
Well,
was
just
really
like
experienced.
staying on top of the hydration and the fueling and just the constant pushing and pulling and not nonstop
And
positivity.
Steven has ran several 100-milers himself.
Yeah.
So he was like speaking to Giannis from personal experience.
Yeah.
But constantly being like, "Hey, man, we're moving. You're looking great. Let's keep going."
Mm.
It's never like he's not like, "Do you look like shit?"
Yeah.
That's what I tried with Giannis. and
That's
didn't help.
definitely hard.
You're like
know-
a ghost of yourself right now.
Yeah. Wow. Well, when I hear about people running 100 miles and then even running 250 miles, it puts in perspective some of these ancient human migrations that just seem implausible. I mean, for instance, and we don't have the details of all this stuff. I mean, it's like prehistory, but like, the people that went down into South America from presumably coming through Alaska on foot without modern technologies, clacking rocks together to make fire. And like, you just think that is an impossible journey, like couldn't be done. And then, but they did it. I mean, there were people down there that were connected to the people up here, and you think, man, maybe it wasn't that big of a deal.
Right.
And not that they did it all at once. That's
Right.
not what I'm suggesting.
Right.
But just like the mobility of a human is pretty darn unique. And you see it in these today, what are extremes of guys like Giannis that are running 100 miles.
Do you
So-
think like the amount of calories that Giannis probably put down just prior to, like 24 hours ahead of time, then through the race, and then let's say 24 hours after, like what would be the caloric, naturally found food caloric equivalent if you had to source it yourself at any, like, right? Because there's a serious cost associated with that part too. Burning calories to get those calories.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Probably cracking open bones for bone marrow and eating kidneys and yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Who
I don't
knows?
know where you'd get the high sugar content stuff. Because
Yeah.
that's what I feel like is like all the sugar when you're drinking these carb drink mixes, it's basically sugar. So you're like a hummingbird. You know, you're just eating, drinking sugar water. You know,
It's
the
just
whole
going straight to
time.
energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you would do that if you had to just gather that in the woods.
Yeah. Yeah.
Berries.
Well, in again, in way of introduction, Mark is a whitetail hunter. That's his main thing. Fly fisherman too. Giannis, I would say, is an elk hunter, and in the last 5 or 6 years, a houndsman. But all these things that you're doing kind of translate in your mind to being able to do what you need to do in the mountains. That's what I hear you talk about when you talk about fitness, is just having longevity. So when you're 70, being able to climb a mountain.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to hunt elk at 70.
All right. Okay. Brent Reaves and Heather, you guys, trouble. I had nothing to do with this. Tell me about what happened last night with Brent and Cal. Go ahead, Heather.
Okay. Well, we got done with dinner, and I said, hey, Brent, I need you to call Steve and tell him you love him. And
Steve
he said,
Ranella.
has your medication worn off? I'm not doing that. I want to keep my job. So we settled on Cal.
Cal was the guinea pig.
You were the second string, like recipient of this joke.
Now
Yeah.
apparently there
Yeah.
is some
Discount Steve, I like to say.
There's some kind of trend on social media where friends call each other, male friends call their friends at night and just
Tell 'em.
before the bedtime.
Tell him good night,
Tell 'em
sweet
good night.
dreams, I love you.
Something that
just like
probably doesn't happen a lot amongst friends,
Yeah.
you know.
And so you film.
Well, it was either you or him going to make the call, but we thought, you know what? If anyone calls somebody and says, I love you, good night, sweet dreams, and it's going to be the most believable, it would be Brent.
Yeah, well, that was pure peer pressure. We
it
could have robbed.
was.
She could have made me rob a liquor store last
And
night.
I kept saying, don't forget, tell him I love you. Tell him I love you.
So I
And
called.
so we all go into the lobby of this hotel.
Yeah.
Heather goes and asks the hotel people to turn the music off.
Oh, wow.
Because they're just like ambient music
Yeah.
playing, which I
really
thought was a
planned it
pretty
out
high level
well.
move.
Yeah.
And then so Brent calls Cal.
Cal.
I didn't think you'd pick up, Cal.
Me
I
neither.
just kind of thought, I bet Cal's not even going to pick up.
What time of night was this?
9 o'clock.
And I
At 9
later
o'clock.
asked Steve,
Okay.
if we would have called you, would you have answered? And he said, nope.
I told you.
So
yeah. So
Yeah.
we call Cal, and Cal answers. He's like, "Hey, Brent. Hey, Cal." So, or I always call him Ryan. Ryan. That's what his mama calls him. That's what I'm gonna call him. I said, "Hey, Ryan, what are you doing?" He said, and the most Ryan Callaghan answer ever. He said, "Well, I just got through eating some whitetail backstrap, and I'm laying down. What are you doing?" And the conversation just kind of went off course from there. And I can see Cal's face while he's talking to me like, Brent's lost his mind.
Oh,
he said, I just wanted to see if you had a good day today and
Yeah, is that-
call you and tell you good night. And
yeah. So
And Cal
how was your
goes-
day?
Yeah,
Cal
Cal
goes,
was really nice. It was like super
wow.
nice.
It was the best.
Well, I thought Brent may have been having a moment, and I was like, okay, mental health's a big thing. I was like, I
fair.
want to let you know I'm here for you. I just
Yeah.
don't want to push the direction someplace it shouldn't go.
Yeah.
Like, you tell
Yeah.
me, how was your day?
He was very
That
receptive.
was right. And emotionally
It
intelligent.
was great. It was great. Yeah, Cal
what-
was just like, he just took it.
At what point did you get kind of confused?
Were we on speaker?
Like,
Was
at what
Sam
point were you a
listening?
little bit like, what's going on here?
Well, like I said this morning, right? Like I have several friends all across the country that are veterans, and they deal with some tough mental health stuff, and I always make sure that when this comes up on occasion, that they know that they can call me, and I make sure that my number's in their phone, because that's a huge part of this like very tragic suicide rate amongst veterans and
Absolutely.
PTSD is when they often do reach out and call people when they're in these crisis moments, and often the difference of creating or committing to an act that you can't go back from, like suicide, is whether or not somebody picks up the phone. So,
Wow, Cal took it to like serious place quick, but
yeah,
it's true.
It is.
Very true.
It is. So, yeah, that's what I was like. Oh, well, this is a little odd. So I try to, like, a lot of my buddies, 9 o'clock at night, I'm sitting there with the girlfriend on the couch. I can let that go until the next day, right? But you never call me at 9 o'clock at night.
No, must have been something going on. Yeah,
exactly.
Yep. Yeah. So that's one thing that you could. I figured he'd pick up if he saw it was me on there. If he had service, and he did.
Yeah, yeah. And then so Brent ends it with
yeah. I was like, well, good night, buddy. Or I was like, good night, Cal. And he's like, good night. And I'm like, I love you, buddy. He goes, I love you too. I appreciate you.
And I still don't get the joke.
Yeah.
Well, it's just funny. It's like, yeah.
And just
now we know who to
told-
list as our emergency contact. You're all gonna pick up.
Cal, if you see me call
Be
at 9,
careful.
answer please, okay?
Yeah.
I won't be filming.
no, it's funny.
It was
tell us
good.
about
It was a good call,
Did
Heather.
you get pranked?
Oh, yeah.
We didn't know about this when we did our, and then
Almost simultaneously.
Yeah.
Steve Ranella, who it was a major setup, and I didn't even know it. I don't think they really meant it to be a complete setup. Steve Ranella doesn't call me that often. I mean, I consider him a good friend, a guy I love. He doesn't call me that often. I don't know if he calls y'all much. Steve Ranella calls me in the middle of our meeting yesterday, and he knows I'm in a meeting. And so I'm like, oh, this must be important. I like scramble around, like bump people and get out in the hall. And I'm like, hello. And he's like, Clay, man, this physicist that you interviewed on this water witching episode, I was disappointed in him, man. I mean, the guy, like, he should have read a little more about it. But he did say one thing, and Steve just starts talking. And I mean, I talked to him for 25. I listened to him for 25 minutes. Talk about the bear grease water witching episode, and he's just going on and on. And he, I kind of get fired up. I mean, like he's speaking my language. I'm excited, and I'm like, I start talking, and I feel like I'm talking to, a confidant here.
A fellow
I can
believer.
really say what I think. And so I'm talking about holding the sticks, water witching. We did this whole episode on water witching and what makes the sticks move. And so I'm describing passionately an even more detailed version of what I said on the podcast.
it's really good.
All the while, Dr. Randall, the Randomal himself, is filming Steve Ranella with his phone set on the table, and Steve just laughing, like silently laughing, like throwing his head back, laughing at me on the line, just like pouring out my heart.
They just threw it out there and reeled you.
They had, I mean, dude, yeah.
Are they going to use that? Is that going to go on social media?
It's already been sent to MeatEater's social media person.
Oh, jeez.
So anyway, I was punked as well, Kyle.
Yeah. For folks who ever get in this situation when Steve calls and he's going off on his thing, right? If you interject and you stop him, he clicks into reality again of the fact that there's somebody else on the other end of the line. And more often than not, and you guys got to listen for this, he'll be like, oh, I'll let you say your thing, but I just got to say one more thing. Just let me say this one last thing.
So it didn't end with Cal last night, though.
We're gonna have trust issues now in this.
When somebody calls, you're gonna be like, well. So we had so much fun with Cal that Brent immediately calls Giannis.
Little more skeptical.
What was your experience like here, Giannis, with this?
Yeah, I was also in bed, had just finished my second ice cream bar of the evening.
Which you earned.
And I was probably scrolling through some Moultrie pics on my laptop, and Brent Reaves' number pops up. I answered.
He goes, I was just
Buffoonery
thinking about
ensued.
those little toes.
Oh.
I saw you.
He's like,
He
I
goes-
saw
he
your
goes- check on
toes, and I was worried about your toes. And I'm like, That's kind of weird, but
I
yeah,
saw
they're
you in
fine.
flip flops.
Funny you say that. I had to do some like little surgery today, so I tell him about doing a little surgery.
He was immediately skeptical. He was like, whatever. What do you need, Brent? Like that.
I'm like, no, man, I just called to check on your feet.
Oh, you're right. I kind of forgot about that. Where I was like, okay, Brent, like that's funny. What do you need? Can I help
you sniffed it
But
out.
you stuck
Yeah.
with it.
You
And
said,
then that's
I
when I
thought you
kind of
were trying to
went back
trick
towards
me or
like
something.
That's
Cal's
the key.
feeling. I'm like,
Key is you
oh,
got to commit.
man, what's going on with Brent?
Yeah.
I know.
He needs somebody, and he called me. I'm gonna have to be
I'm
here
here.
for the
I'm
guy.
like, what
Yeah,
happened at group dinner? You know, it's like, what?
Yeah, no, because my first thought was Brent's a big softie. He's like a big teddy bear, you know, and he's got a lot of, passion, emotion, probably empathy, sympathy for people. And I thought, I've seen Brent drink like a beer or two, but maybe last night he had 3 or 4. And,
what he
this
said.
is what
Sam
happens.
said, I thought Brent was-
Yeah.
And he just needs to call his buddies and just tell him he loves them.
Quick check-in. Yeah, sure. Better at 9 p.m. than 4 a.m.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Then he says, I love you. And you go, bye.
See, Brent?
Hey, buddy.
And then we're like, he don't love you. Cal loves you.
Cal's was.
He goes, love you.
They were both unique experiences. But you know what? They were trying to get me to do it, and I was just like, I couldn't do it. I could not pull it off. Brent used to be an undercover agent.
Yeah, I thought actually then you should have done a better job.
Wait, can we talk? Do we know the story about what you first thought of him?
Oh,
he
we
was-
talk about it all the time.
Okay.
He never shuts up.
That he
about
was
that.
Yeah.
so nice and had all
That
the
I thought he was
great
undercover
qualities
agent.
of what you'd want in a friend, and that made you suspicious
Yeah.
because he was a good person.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm still not fully convinced that's not a long-term plan.
A long con.
Yeah.
I'm in for the long game.
The long con.
Like 15 years now.
So that was pretty exciting, and it was all Heather.
It was all
Heather. It was her.
And you guys
idea.
had enough after Cal and myself, no one else.
I mean,
No, that was it.
it
We
just
were all
was
there.
about all.
Yeah, who else would we were there
Right.
now? Yeah,
I
we
think
have
it gets
to,
a little less funny probably every time you do it, like in the moment. The first one was just hysterical. Duke from First Light was there, and
He had to change.
he
his
was
diaper when
giggling
was
like
over.
a
He's
schoolgirl.
Yeah,
He's laughing so loud.
Yeah,
we couldn't
we
quite
thought-
hear him say "I love you too," we were a little crushed about that. We were like, "Shut up!" 'Cause
Well, when you sent the video that you filmed, Sam was like, "You couldn't hear this in the background."
I thought the same
like,
thing.
how
It
could
was
you bring
so
this shame on us?
loud.
I'm like, half the time I can't hear you on the other end of the couch.
That's
you were
so
paying
funny.
attention.
Yeah.
No, it's yeah, it was great. It was great. It was fun. It was fun. Heather,
Yes.
tell me about this tattoo on your hand.
Oh,
Can you show it to the
This
camera?
is yes. They float like this.
Mm.
This is a wooden halibut hook. It's in my traditional language. It's called nach, spelled Naxw if you want to spell it in English. And this is a hook that it has a sea monster design, and it's the only hook we've retired. My dad and I fish with these, and it fished for like 30 years. We finally retired it because
One
It al-
hook.
it always caught the fish, and they're set in pairs to compete against each other, and it would always catch. So we retired it to give the other ones a chance.
In those 30
Really?
years, because it looks like it's lashed together, right? Like, do you find a Y-shaped piece of wood to make
It's
it out
two
of?
pieces of wood. We're actually going to film in my upcoming show next week, episode on using
nice.
them. But they're made of two different types of wood. So the part that has the design is yew wood, and then this part that has the barb was yellow cedar.
Now, is that on purpose, or was
Yeah,
that just that
the-
specific
The
one
different
was like that?
densities of wood make it float appropriately.
Oh, really?
You know, when you set them, and then
so
the placement
the
of
yew
this.
wood wants to go to the bottom.
Mhm.
Wow.
And then this, we have cordage there that needs to be placed in the right spot. So this yellow cedar part floats level to the ocean floor. So not like this or this, just level. So that placement's important. Traditionally, the materials used would be spruce root, to fasten the two pieces together, and a bare bone barb and cedar bark line. The float at the surface traditionally was an inflated, dried seal stomach. And then there's a tattletale buoy, and typically that's a cormorant, black bird.
Yeah.
And when you get one, it tips up. So you'd set them, go to the beach and watch, and when it tips up, then you go check your hooks. And the halibut come up real easy, hand line them. And if you've caught halibut on a pole, it feels like you're pulling up a mattress. But with these, my niece is 10, she pulled up a 215 pounder, just real easy.
Wow.
Hand line it up, and
why is it different?
I don't know. It's the technology, it's just Tlingit traditional method of fishing, and just the way that the hooks are created and fished, and the halibut just stay calm.
Wow.
But then are you spearing them on the surface or
No.
gaffing them or
No,
bonking them? There's got to
Yeah,
be
when
some
they
sort of
come up-
violence involved here.
Yeah, when they come up, you want to hit a halibut right on the nostrils, right when its head comes up out of the water before it can get mad. So if you hit them really hard right on the nose,
With the bat of some sort?
like a back, gaff hook
Yeah.
or club, they don't flop around like that. I see people shoot them and harpoon them. It's not necessary. You can get a big 300 pounder, hit it on the nose, the right spot, and it just peacefully comes up over the
I have
side.
come to the conclusion that harpooning them is not necessary at all, but it is so much fun. I would rather do that.
Really?
It's just so much fun.
Then if it wakes up, sometimes you splash water on the deck and it'll wake up. But if you hit a halibut on its belly, if it's dark side down, belly up, so the white side, you hit it on its belly and you pet it going towards its tail. It mimics that feeling of them like swimming and their belly on the bottom of the ocean, and they lay right back down.
Whoa, that's cool.
You kind of hit them on the stomach and go like this,
Wow.
and they go back to
That is
Very
interesting.
yeah.
Do
I
you
wanna go
prefer
back-
to eat a 50 pounder or a 250 pounder?
The medium, smaller ones. But so with this, to prevent overfishing, you only set the amount of hooks of fish you want to catch, because you can't release fish off of here. So typically we'd release a big halibut off like a skate or a long line. But you have to keep the fish that you catch. So you catch
Does
a
it
really
hook-
big
Does it
one,
hook like
203 pounds, 150 or more pounds, you might just want one fish. So to ensure you don't over harvest or only take what you need, you're just going to set a couple hooks.
So I want to go back to what you said in case anybody missed it. I've heard you say it before, but you're setting you set two at a time so
Yeah.
that they compete.
Yeah, so it's like a friendly competition. Each one has eyes so it can see what it's catching. You lower them, and in our traditional language, you give them encouraging words, and you pick two out, and they're different designs. So we're like, oh, we're going to compete sea monster against eagle or whatever the other one is. And then sometimes both catch, sometimes none, sometimes one. And it's sort of just like a way of, having fun and encouraging them, putting good energy into the things you do and the food that you harvest. And then it's a myth. Some people say that you can adjust that width to catch a smaller or larger fish. That's a myth. A halibut cheek or its lip is about the same size, whether it's a 20 pounder or a 300 pounder. And we've caught all different
sizes.
of halibut
And
on
you,
these.
so you retired this one because it was so good to give the other ones a chance.
Always caught hundreds of fish, and it has teeth marks. I should have brought it to show you, but right here it's got a bunch of teeth marks. It's like old and gray. The wood.
So where did your dad make that one?
He makes all of them.
So, but the specific one that you've retired,
Mhm, he
what's
gave
its
it
name?
to me.
I mean,
This is a sea
that's
monster, but yeah, he
Okay.
gave it to me. It's at my house.
Wow,
It's
that's pretty cool.
incredible.
I want you to
That's
get
pretty
two new ones and name one Brent and one Clay
We could
and see which one catches the most.
in my episode. You
I'll
know,
tell
we're
you which
gonna
one will-
film, and you can
Slick
pick
tree.
your design.
Really?
Yeah, we'll call you up. We'll have you choose. You
Oh, I'm
compete
in.
against each other.
Okay,
It's on.
okay.
Is the hook baited?
So you wrap. So take a octopus tentacle, and you shave off a thin layer. You know, the part that has the suckers.
Mm.
Because if you put a whole octopus tentacle on here, it'd be so heavy it wouldn't float appropriately. So you just shave off that layer to make it look like a lot of bait. You wrap it so it looks like a lot. And halibut love octopus. You bait this part and wrap it around. The barb is exposed, you know, wrap it around. Then you do like a little piece of nylon, like twine, do a couple half hitches, wrap it over the tentacle, and then secure it here. When a halibut goes to eat, you know, they can't see very well because they have eyes on top of their head. They can smell really well and hear. So when you set them, the sinkers are these rocks with the groove carved in them, and you kind of knock, wake them up.
Really?
So you set your hooks, and then you like knock on the ground with the, you pull the line, obviously you're up here, and you can feel that rock like knocking.
You feel
And-
like that's calling them.
Oh, we've had them bite when you do that.
Oh,
You could feel it.
just any disturbance down there, they're picking up on it.
When if they're there, they're gonna bite. But
You know,
Um,
halibut's my favorite fish.
is it?
It is.
You ever
It is.
seen them cook it?
no, when halibut eat, they open their mouth.
Mark's had my halibut.
It was good. It was
Was it?
good. You did well.
It creates a vacuum, and it sucks that part in their mouth, and they don't like something. They try to spit it out. When they eject it, it goes in their cheek.
The barb.
The barb, which is oftentimes the shin bone of a bear.
Yes.
Yeah,
Bear-
that's
yeah,
pretty cool.
piece
The
of bear
barb.
bone.
Yeah,
I
I
like
have a-
to dry. My favorite way to eat halibut is dried.
Dried. See, I would have never had
Smoked-
it that way.
Cold smoked, then dried.
Is it kind of like dried salmon?
Jerky. It's
Salmon.
like meat snacks.
Yeah.
I have a
meat
hard
snacks.
time fishing
Yeah.
with octopus because I like to eat the octopus so much.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's
we
tasty
get
stuff.
octopus from sometimes they go in their crab pots, you know?
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Heather, when do your MeatEater films come out?
I think September.
Oh, they're coming out soon.
Pretty
Yeah.
quick.
So you'll be able to watch on the MeatEater YouTube channel a bunch of stuff filmed in Alaska with Heather and her
Yeah.
dad,
Very
Thank
and
you.
it's gonna be cool. I'm looking
excited.
forward to it.
Does
Thank
any of
you.
this fishing talk get you interested in diving into fishing further, Clay?
I mean, I enjoy fishing in Alaska just because of the novelty of it, and I actually enjoy fishing. I just had to make a decision when I was 22 years old when I had my first child. It was like I got to be because at that time it honestly could have gone probably either way. I like to fish and hunt, and I just knew I couldn't do both. So I kind of rejected. I went that route. Rejected fishing.
How
But-
did you cook the halibut?
Um,
Bad?
Mark's
Yeah,
giving me
what's
a hard
going
time.
on?
Mark was
He
our
made a
judge.
sandwich.
Fish sandwich, fish and chips.
Oh, fried.
Yeah,
Battered and fried.
just butter,
Pan
sautéed
fried.
in butter, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pan fried.
It is
pan
good.
fried.
It is
Just
good.
seared. Not.
Grilled halibut.
He
I mean,
did terrific given the circumstances.
yeah, it was on MeatEater Roast, the cooking show, you know.
Oh,
So it was fun. It was good though. But I do love halibut.
Who won
I
that,
really do.
Mark? Do you remember?
That was you,
Oh,
sir.
That,
was you.
I did win that one. Okay.
Great one. Yeah. Oh, Cal.
yeah.
Hey, man, you know what people ask me all the time, and I want to ask you? Well, you were just on Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Tell me about that experience. And you can tell us what we were talking about, what you guys were talking about, but this is a huge deal. I mean, like in our culture, if aliens came down here and analyzed our culture, they'd be like, now, wait a minute. Why do people think it's like unique and cool to go on
Uh-huh.
Joe Rogan? Rugan? Who is this?
Yeah.
But like you were on Rogan like 2 weeks ago.
It's I mean it's a weird deal. I feel like I've known Joe for a long time now. It's not like we're talking on the phone every day, but
For
however
Let's get
long
him
it
to
was.
call Joe Rogan tonight.
I love you,
Hey,
buddy.
Joe.
I love you, buddy. Checking on those toes.
It's a lot different these days. Like
Okay.
the last time, like when we hunted together, and then we did the Joe Rogan podcast when he was still in California.
So you've been on it before.
Yeah, one time for the exact same reason as this last time, right? Public lands. But, when he was in California, it was like, cool, show up at this address. Oh, there you are. We walk in, he unlocks his own door, we walk in together. Now it's way different, right? Undisclosed location. And you get picked up, dropped off. His security team it's all the same guys from the last couple of years. Really, nice guys. So sat around, BS'd with them. Then Joe finally rolled in and yeah, did the podcast, and it was kind of odd timing, right? Because we had been talking, and I'd been like, "Hey, Joe, you need to pay attention to this public land sell-off stuff. It's very real."
So you had said that you had communicated with him before.
Yeah,
In some way.
yeah. Just making
What'd you
sure
do?
that he was in
Did
the
you
loops.
call him, email him?
I was just texting him, just saying,
Okay.
"Hey, man, like this is real. Just stay on top of it." And Cameron Haynes was I was keeping him in the loop, right? And then eventually I was like, "This is super real. Like we got to make a podcast happen." And he's like, "Yep, you're right. It's
So
important."
that's gutsy. I
Well,
like it that you had the boldness to say, "Hey, we need to do a podcast."
Yeah,
and he did it.
I'm not going to call him and be like, "Hey, I want to talk about me." Right? I mean, this is important stuff. So, and yeah, I mean, he was like, "Okay, how about July 4th?" And I was like, "Dude, July 4th is too late. They're going to vote. They're supposed to vote in the Senate on July. So it's got to be earlier than that." And he was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll reschedule this other guy." And got in there July 3rd. And he's like, "But that's the best I can do." So went down there and yeah, had a good talk. But, at that point, we had just gotten 2 days earlier the public land sell-off language removed from the Senate version of the budget bill, big beautiful budget bill. And so we kind of had like a little bit of a recap, but also like this is kind of how we got here. And Joe likes to have tangents too, and some of which I'm not super interested in, if I'm being honest. But so have to kind of redirect, but very important to me, obviously, making sure we have places to go hunt and fish, and making sure that people understand that even though you're not using it, this is yours right now. Do you want to lose it forever? Because once it's gone, it's gone. And yeah, so that's what we talked about, and then right now today I just got a call because the next version of land sell-offs is coming in, and there's a lot of folks working really hard to defund a lot of like very specific areas of how we manage our public resources, and in an effort to kind of minimize those areas and make them easier to sell off. So I got a call from the Washington Post today to talk about where we think this funding's going, and is it important to hunters and anglers, so yeah, I mean, and it's just going to keep coming until folks understand that public land, public water, public wildlife is so important to everybody that it's not this political bargaining chip. You got to keep your hands off of it, right?
Mhm.
So, and by keep your hands off of it, there's always these extremes these days, right? The ultra crazy liberal left and the ultra crazy conservative right, and nobody talks about the ultra crazy middle, right? Where it's not keep your hands off it, you can't touch it, you can't go out there, as some people like to say, and it's not it only does us good if we can extract everything off of it, right? So we all use stuff when it's time for extraction. It's got to be responsible extraction, and there's ways to do that stuff responsibly if we demand that it needs to be done that way, right? So, yeah, kind of advocating for the ultra crazy middle ground.
Yeah, the radical center.
Yeah, exactly.
The radical center.
Yeah.
Is it true that maybe I heard you say it, Mark, today, that Mike Lee, who was the face of the bill that was the part of the bill that was wanting to sell off the land.
Yep.
That after all this, he was like, there was murmurs of him thinking that where did all this opposition come from? Was it this dark money?
Who's funding? What dark money is funding all this opposition?
As if our voice and all the hunters and anglers who stood up on social media and
It could not be legitimate.
right, we had to be somehow being coerced or paid or I mean,
Right.
That actually he actually said that.
Oh yeah.
Because apparently that's the way they do business up there.
Yeah, it's revealing, right?
very.
Yeah. And that's a huge, like, where we need to get to thing is we're only going to have as much transparency into this process as we demand. And a lot of these people do not want people paying attention to them. They do not.
Yeah.
The more spotlight they have on them, the less they're going to get done in their own way. And that's the role that we all have to play, as citizens, is demanding that these people represent our interests. And sometimes the chips might fall in the right direction when we're not paying attention, but that's not where I'm going to put my money,
If you want to see the roaches running high, just turn the lights on.
Turn the lights on. Yes, sir. So there's a lot of very smart folks who are in tune with things, saying that there's going to be another big land sell-off attempt here during hunting season because people have realized that it wasn't until the hunting community, and this is something that we should be patting our backs on, it wasn't until the hunting community really got riled up that everybody else started taking it really seriously. And it was this kind of domino effect, if you will. And so people have been like, oh my gosh, well, let's just do it during hunting season. And then these people are going to be distracted because we know they care way more about hunting than what we're doing.
Well, the thing is, I've always thought that we as the hunting and fishing community kind of have a superpower on these types of issues because folks like Mike Lee and his ilk, they can ignore the traditional environmentalists, the traditional left-leaning green crowd, because those folks weren't supporting Mike Lee or anyone on that side of the aisle anyways, right? But they do need to listen to the hunting and fishing community, which has traditionally supported the right side of the aisle, and they need the support of our community. So when all of a sudden we start making a ruckus about this stuff, we are being heard. They do need to, work for that constituency. So there's a little bit of an extra opportunity we have in these moments.
Yeah. And there's a giant chunk of I feel like something that the politicians need to pay attention to is there's this huge group, literally larger than the group that voted for the Democrats and larger than the group that voted for the Republicans in this last election, that are saying we are not being represented. And it's motivating that 36% that didn't vote to vote one way or another, right? Like, where's my representation? And I think a lot of those people definitely stood up and made phone calls and posts and rallied people during this public land sale stuff. So the more that we can get people engaged, the more they're going to pay attention. So I say policy, not politics. Don't support politics, but you got to be involved in policy.
Hear, hear.
Well, I was proud to know you, Cal, on that whole deal. Just I was just thinking about. I mean, sometimes those kind of issues aren't on the forefront.
Yeah,
but when they are, I'm looking to you and some other people. Mark was really vocal on it.
Not just vocal, knowledgeable, right?
Like, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was a clutch play. And there was so many people involved. I mean,
absolutely.
But it was Yeah, and I guess we're just going to have to keep fighting it, man. I mean, we're preaching to the choir so much, but I mean, we just have, I feel like that we just have no real awareness of how fortunate we are to live in this country, have access to public land.
Yep.
Period. I mean, it's just like, this is a human experience that is not happening in other places where we could, and I mean, there's all this talk about, people being upset about elk draws being harder to get to and hunting being limited, but golly, I'm just happy that I can get an elk tag in my lifetime. I mean, I don't want the bar to drop so low that, I mean, I realize there's challenges, but I just think it's cool that we have access to what we have. And
you can put your name in the hat for a bighorn sheep, right? It's like, and it's possible.
Yep.
Right? Yanni drew bighorn, right? That's a tough one to grab. But folks, you just can't be complacent, right? Because it doesn't matter how big Joe Rogan's podcast is. Like, if the people don't listen to that and then make the phone calls and the emails on their own, he's just one voice, right? Or Clay or Heather or Brent or Giannis or Mark or myself, and you can't assume somebody else is going to do the heavy lifting.
Correct.
That's the deal.
I feel like we should put some effort into opposing Mike Lee next time he has to run for his seat.
We can definitely remind people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be great to get him primaried.
Well, I want to close down with one story that has just come up and everybody's talking about it, and I just kind of want to get your hot take on it. Giannis, tell us about the guy that poached the deer that everybody's talking about. There's a good MeatEater article about it. There's articles all over. We just give the world a look into what this guy did and what happened to him.
Yeah. Well, and I'll preface it with saying that I was really impressed by our editorial team, Maggie, and I can't remember who she said she wrote it
I
with.
think Jordan did it with her.
With her?
Yeah.
But the latest email that I got from them, I forget what the title was. It was like, "Don't be a moron."
Yeah.
And then the top 3 articles in this email and what's on the website today was all these poaching cases, right? But Maggie wrote a nice little piece about being like, don't be these people. Let's celebrate all the great things and do it right, respect it. And it was just really nice to see us coming forward and putting our voice out there, not just writing an article, sort of, trying to get clicks with another poaching case, right?
Right.
But the first one in this set of 3 is about a hunter, an internet celebrity YouTube hunter who has a show, albeit small, but he has a show on YouTube. I think he also is on Carbon TV, if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds right.
And he was hunting in Kansas in a unit that he did not have a tag for. He did have a Kansas tag, but not a tag for that unit. Killed a deer, drove that deer to Oklahoma, where he also had a tag, and then tagged that deer there. Then went back to Kansas and hunted in the unit that he did have a tag for and killed another buck. In the end, when it all came out and he got busted, he got in trouble for killing 2 deer in Kansas, which you're not allowed to do. You can only kill 1 buck. And then he also got in trouble through the Lacey Act for transporting that illegal animal across state lines.
I was going to say, Brent, when you're out there committing crimes, do you suggest crossing state lines?
That is a bad juju right there. That's going to escalate it.
How did they catch him?
From a state to federal. I'm not sure the article even stated how he was caught, did it?
We don't know how he got caught.
But I do know that there was some heavy hitter government agencies in on it. I think it might even said CIA was in on it. The big kids came out to stop this guy. So obviously both Fish and Wildlife departments from Oklahoma and Kansas were involved. But yeah, it's a big deal. He's losing his license for his lifetime in Kansas. And then I forget how many years.
5 years nationwide.
5 years nationwide.
It was interesting seeing all the hunting companies that sponsored him come out with their statements this week. Yeah, there's multiple companies had these big write-ups about how they're rejecting their association with this
kind of
person.
surprised, like why they would even say anything at all, because this was a person like I'd never even heard of this person before,
Yeah,
or this
I've never
thing.
heard of him
And I
either.
felt like you were actually bringing more attention to him and your association with him by doing this post than if you just said nothing at all. I don't think anybody would have known about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I think that the PR side of things, they don't want to get caught being like, hey, everybody else sort of made a statement.
Sure.
Are you condoning this?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe after one person does it,
Yeah. Maybe so.
the whole thing gets
That's crazy.
the whole thing gets messed up.
So I heard a story about another person who had been in this world that we're talking about, like the media world, who had been busted for some illegal stuff and got busted in part by the Lacey Act because he had brought, an animal legally harvested across state lines, and that made it so much worse because of that. So now this person, supposedly, whenever this person kills a deer in a certain state, even if he thinks he did everything by the book, he leaves that deer in that state for a minimum of 5 years to ensure that nothing else is found out and dug up that he could get in trouble for if he were to transfer over state lines.
Now, he chose to do this, or the judge said he had to do this?
Again, this is all secondhand. So
Okay.
game of
But
telephone.
you're saying when he leaves the deer, you're talking about the head
yeah,
at this
so,
point.
so he leaves it with the taxidermist and does not take it to his home for 5 years.
Oh.
Boy, that's a
By
good
his
way
own
to get
choice.
a deer back from a taxidermist in 20 years. If you're like, hey, don't worry about it, I'll pick it up in 5 years. They'd be like, yeah, I won't worry about it.
Or you're the only guy that's actually going to get your taxidermy on time.
Yeah.
Well, everybody loves a good poaching story.
Why?
Well, I of all people,
Because I actually don't.
my buddies. Well, yeah.
What do you
Mark,
think? What would you
Come
do
on,
that
yeah, you
for?
do, Mark.
Just to get
No,
more-
but-
Well, the best,
not more food.
the best, some of the highest listened to Bear Grease episodes of all time have been our poacher
I believe
stuff.
it. I know you've got some good ones.
And they're
But
just interesting. They're human interest stories. Because the interest in this case, if I was sitting down with this guy, I would be like, why did you do this? What were you after? Why did you think you'd get away with it?
Yeah.
Did you steal stuff when you were a kid? Did you tell the truth? I mean, it's a
like a human psychology fascination.
Yeah, it's
Is that
just
right?
like a human interest story. And what you usually find out is that some of these guys aren't that much different than just the average guy. I mean, and it's sometimes a momentary lapse in judgment. It's usually a lifetime of lack of character, honestly, when it's this egregious. I mean, you don't do this on accident. I mean, there and there's such a nuance to me inside of game violations. There's some that are just clearly egregious. This is egregious. Like this guy.
There's planning.
He didn't kill
This
that
guy
deer. and
didn't do
trip
this
and-
on accident. Like he didn't accidentally kill a deer in Kansas thinking he was in Oklahoma.
No,
And then-
he had to, film a 22-minute episode or whatever
Oh, he
and
filmed it.
continue this lie through the episode.
So he's
I
saying he's
watched
in
it.
Oklahoma.
Did he self-film it?
No, he's with a...
Well, he's got an accomplice as far
How
as
was
I'm
the film
concerned.
work,
Yeah.
Johnny?
Huh?
How was the
Would you
film
consider it
work?
a film or an episode?
Was the film? Does he create content,
Yeah,
or was
yeah.
it
Oh,
all
he put
part
it
of
up.
the just filming because we're gonna cover it up and we're gonna say we're here? And we're
No, he was
No,
filming
no,
for
no.
his
He made
show.
a show.
It-
He made
okay,
an episode.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, so the FBI profile for serial killers is you can overlap it with serial poachers. And they did that study with, I want to say U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, maybe, just to see a few years ago. And so that made the rounds quite a bit. I want to say 5 years ago. And it's been referenced a couple other times because there have been serial poachers that have one day just decided to kill somebody, and they had the exact same reasoning as to why they shoot a handful of bucks at night every year or whatever it is, right? It's I don't know, just did it. So that's really interesting to think about on the poaching side of things. And then the guy that I would love for you to interview, because I want to know the whole reason why, is this dude. This is a big time case. It broke gosh, I want to say about 18 months ago, and then the kind of the civil part of it just kind of wrapped up now. But this guy, Carl Schlatter, I think is his name. He's a southern Idaho dude, Buell, Idaho area, Burley, Buell, but like local farmer kid, done super well for himself. Went to lineman school, got on the board of a co-op, and then got on the board of this giant electrical company, making tons of money, and just a filthy poacher, right? And has all the cash to go wherever and do it all right, and free time and stuff, and gets like really into it to where he's like, well, none of these poachers are really doing it at a pro level. And so he kind of sets up his own insider trading of illegal tags in Idaho. And that's at the point at which he got busted. But I mean, he'd been observed for quite a while, and the case was being put together. But that is the guy I would love to sit down with, or have you sit down with, and just be like, walk me through the decision, because he was killing like his kids' bull elk for him. You know what I mean? Like,
There's a guy in my town. I love this guy. He's like an old.
Here we go.
Just love this guy. Every time I see him at the store, I stop and talk to him. He drives around with like 6 dogs and gets a pack of ground beef and feeds them raw ground beef in the truck. And I love him. But he poached lots and lots when he was growing up and in his adulthood. He tells me stories all the time.
Is he? But he doesn't do it anymore.
No, I think he's like in his late 70s now. But,
Reformed.
And he doesn't. He lives in Alaska, but
Brent's
he
not
told me
buying
this one story about, they'd watch him. They'd wait for him, and at night, and he got so good at hiding the deer. He said one time he put it in a spare tire. It was in the back of his truck, and then put the rim back, and then the police were looking all over, and they're like, "We know you got one." And they couldn't find it, and they're moving this tire around. It's so heavy. And he said when the guy retired, the law enforcement officer retired, he told him it was in that tire the whole time.
Oh, man.
You'd like to talk to this guy.
What I thought was interesting about the one that we started the conversation with is that he's doing it for a show. And since all of us film some version of hunting, catching, your episode is going to be better when something dies to some extent, right?
Yeah, when you get the goal of the show.
Yeah.
And sometimes the hero doesn't, get over that hump, but like that's a real pressure, right? To come home with
pressure. Pressure is one thing, but integrity is something else, and that's going to win every show as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
And y'all too. I mean, I'm telling Noah about the flood, saying that to you guys, but it's just the idea that a fella anyone can put themselves in a place to feel the amount of pressure that the only way that they can do that is to have the hero shot with a dead animal. That's the only way that you can win. He's not out there for the same reasons I am, for sure, or any of you folks. I know.
We didn't mention either one of the deer was like 190 something inch buck.
190.
That's what.
Whoa!
Pretty sure I read that. Yeah, 197.
Okay, that's different.
Well, in that case,
How much is Oklahoma Tech?
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, when I was filming, I'm new at this, and we were filming. We were hunting up in Alaska. I was like, "Do you show the misses?" He said, "Oh yeah." I said, "Okay." Well,
I do.
I just watched a little preview of my first episode. I go, "You just showed me missing 5 times in a row." I go, "Are you gonna show me getting one?" They're like, "Oh, you're missing," because it's far. You can't tell. But I was like, watching it, like, it's so close.
Yep.
So it's real. It's part of it, and it's okay if it's
It
in
is.
there.
It is. That's reality.
Makes you human.
Yeah.
Every time I see one of those things, I in all honesty, the reason I was paranoid about Brent just a little bit when I first met him was because I had just stepped into the hunting industry, that not full time, just was like writing some stuff. and I've told the story so many times, I won't belabor it, but we really grew. My dad actually, I didn't realize this would be abnormal, but my dad actually really taught us to follow the law. I mean, like, we didn't get to.
It's not
I
abnormal.
don't think that's abnormal.
Well,
Clay.
okay.
It may be.
I know some people.
I think it was abnormal.
He took it unusually serious for everybody that I knew, for real, just like letter of the law kind of stuff.
Yep.
So I grew up with that, and maybe a little bit of paranoia because of that. And then, just when I got into the hunting industry, I envisioned, well, what if I just made a mistake,
Yep.
and this thing is over, and so I don't have people maybe have accused me of being sympathetic towards poachers because of some of the stuff that we've done on bear grease. And I was going to tell you, if any candidate of a bear grease story, there's got to be redemption in the arc. Okay?
Yeah.
So this guy in Idaho, like, I don't want to give him any press if he's kind of still a dirtball.
Well,
You know what I mean?
that's the. Yeah, I mean, he very well could be. I just don't know. I'm dying to
you
know,
know?
like, the psychological reason. It's like
How do
you
know?
could have gone. I mean, he's wealthy enough to where he could go anywhere outside of the interstate compact and continue to hunt and be just and do as much as he wants, just not close to home, right? But it's just like I'm just dying to know, like, what
Yeah.
what
I did
got him
ask
to go.
why my guy poached.
Oh, you
Said
did a
his
little
dad
interview
was
on him?
sick. Dad had cancer. He's sick, and they were starving, poor.
That's what started it, but he kind of kept on.
No, he said I'll call it a warden. That's what you call it. He said during that time his dad was sick. He said the guy who's always after him, he was like, "I'll see you later." Like, it was kind of like a nod to, I'm gonna look the other way because I know y'all are struggling. But then he kept
Interesting.
on
Okay.
after, and then I think it was, I don't know if it's a dopamine thing or what. You rush, when
Yeah.
you do that.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if- I don't know if you get-
Interesting.
yeah.
Well, the whitetail stories are always wild, and I mean, yeah. That's my I don't really have a conclusion. I just wanted to talk about.
Pat
that story.
Duncan has a good
The end.
conclusion.
Just-
His quote, big deer make people do stupid stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just
Yeah, they
say,
do.
"I love you, buddy. Good night."
That's how we're gonna close off the episode. No, hey, it's been fun. It's been fun having everybody on here.
Thanks for
Yeah,
having
no,
us.
no,
It really
thanks for
has.
having us.
It's been a fun conversation, and
First ever crackling.
dude,
Bear grease crackling.
we're gonna have to call if we do that. If we use that name for the third rendition of the bear, the Bear Grease podcast feed's getting really complicated.
They all are.
Because we got the Bear Grease proper, which is our documentary style episode. We got the Bear Grease render, which is us sitting around talking about the Bear Grease proper. We got Brent's This Country Life podcast, and now we have Lake Pickles Backwoods University. So there's a lot going on there. So and then now we're gonna have the Bear Grease crackling.
Do you eat the cracklings?
Oh yeah.
Like we eat seal crispy fat. We call it crispy fat.
I usually use them as dog treats.
Nice.
You can put salt or sugar or both.
we
on
got
there.
our,
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Brent,
Thank
why
you.
don't you wish them good night?
Good night. Thank y'all for listening to Bear Grease Crackling, and like I always say to my friends, good night, buddy.
Good night.